Time now for 5 Fast Facts with Stanley Cup champion, Hockey Hall of Famer, selected as one of the top 100 players of all time, Denis Savard. Denny, who was the best teammate that you ever played with?
Steve Larmer.
Well said. Okay, who was the best coach you ever played for?
Jacques Demers.
Because?
Because we won the cup.
Who did you hate playing against the most and why?
Oh, that's a great. Well, Al McGinnis, and not because he was a physical player. He was very smart player. Could never get around him, especially the years we played in St. Louis. Al had probably that. I did not fear him, but I know he was very good to play against. Very hard to beat a one-on-one. But guys like Gard Butcher, it was hard to play against. Big Butchie, and I got to meet him after our career was all done. What a great man! What a great guy.
After all the success in your career, both on and off the ice, what's the one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you could go back and speak to your 15-year-old Denis Savard? What advice would you say to yourself?
Have fun. I mean, I had fun, and don't be fearful. Just go on with it. You got to deal with it. Kids at that age, and I have one of our little boys now, Maverick, that plays AAA. He's the youngest 15-year-old playing AAA in Montreal. It's in Montreal. I tell him, you go have fun. And the only thing you can control is how hard you play. He's a little guy, not very big. He's playing with some big guys. I went and saw practice about a month ago. I didn't have a chance to see a game yet, but he's still well. So wish him all the best.
You're a smaller guy who made it work, so you're a good example of that. All right, last question. If you hadn't become a professional hockey player, what career do you think you would have had instead?
Well, it's a good story. If you got time, I was a postman.
You were?
Well, yeah, that was my first job. This is a better story than any story I could tell you today. So my dad said, hey, I got you a job for the summer. I was 16 years old. I said, when is that, Dad? He said, you got to be a postman. I said, postman? What do you mean? He said, yeah. He says, and we're going to have this route they're going to give you where you're going to go up the stairs and down the stairs and, deliver mail to the people. And I was in a little town in Rosemont, outside of Montreal, where they had 3-story stairways. Go up, deliver the mail in the door in their box, and went to the other building, did the same thing, and did the same thing. So like for about a week, I did that. I didn't like it because I was too hard. I said to my dad, I said, Dad, it's great for my legs, but I said, my back's starting to hurt, which was a lie. He goes, oh, no, we're not doing that anymore. So my next route was in Nuns Island, just outside of Verdun, which was closer to my house. So now I get apartment buildings. So in the morning, the postman, as people know this, postman, he classified them out in the morning. So I made all my packages, take my bag, and I go to the buildings. When I go building, 2476, the address. And they had all mail out, attached it with the rubber band. And I just kind of laid it down on the floor. I go to the next building, I did the same thing. Next building, I go to the same. It took me 45 minutes to do my run. Got there around 9:45. I was done. I was home by 10:30. I said, Dad, that's perfect. Then he gets a phone call. My dad's name was Arthur, so his buddy calls us, Arthur, we have a problem. He says, what's the problem? He said, your boy is not too sharp. Sometime in jail. And my dad used to tell me all the time, don't ever lose your skates. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You mean, don't lose your skates. You're making a lot of mistakes, kid. You're not, I know that, but I tried. And then so then he went on, he goes, what are you doing? There's mailboxes in those buildings. You know that? I said, really? I didn't notice. So I said, okay, for next time, no, he said, you just lost your job. They fired you. You're out. I go, oh, God, okay. So I said, we'll move on to something else. But
you know what? Moving on to something else really worked well for you, Denny.
Yeah. Well, to finish up the story. So, that was and my dad was a great man. We have 4 boys in him, like I said. So we had to be a little tough on this, which is the right thing to do at the time. But he said to me, he said, every time I made a mistake, he goes, oh, and he'd go like this. If you lose your skates, you're in trouble. You know that, right? I said, nah, Dad, I said, I'll be okay. No. Don't ever lose your skates. I'm telling you, son, if you lose your skates, you're done. So after I played my first NHL game, I said, Dad, I got my skates. So I got to get back into that way. So I got goosebumps when I talk about it. But yeah, he's
Awesome. That is such a great story. We should label this podcast, He Didn't Lose His Skates.
yeah. No.
Hockey Hall of Fame. It's been 5 Fast Facts with Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion Denis Savard.